Die von Ihnen gewählte Rufnummer ist leider nicht verfügbar. Bitte rufen Sie die Auskunft.
All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, and there is no other country even close. We are rapidly reversing the economic calamity, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Hard to believe. Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail, or you're going back to where you came from, or perhaps even further than that. You know what that means. You think about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 1 year ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. Thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with their mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless and unglorious wars. Many years ago, a very successful real estate developer in New York, known as Donald J. Trump, bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very United Nations complex. I said at the time that I would do it for $500 million, rebuilding everything. I'm going to give you marble floors. They're going to give you terrazzo. You're going to have mahogany walls. They're going to give you plastic. But they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive at the time. I've come here today to offer the hand of American leadership and friendship to any nation in this assembly that is willing to join us in forging a safer, more prosperous world. There is no more serious danger to our planet today than the most powerful and destructive weapons ever devised by man, of which the United States, as you know, has many. As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Release the hostages now. We have to get them back now. We don't want to get back 2, and then another 2, and then 1, and then 3. No, we want them all back, and we want the actually 38 dead bodies back too. Those parents came to me, and they want them back, and they want them back as though they were alive. They want them. They want them every bit as much as if their son or daughter were alive. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, it's actually creating new problems. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before, with different customs, religions, with different everything. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore. In 1982, the executive director of the United Nations Environmental Program predicted that by the year 2000, climate change would cause a global catastrophe. This is what they said at the United Nations. What happened? Here we are. Not happening. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Predictions made by the United Nations and many others were wrong. They were made by stupid people. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know. They actually said they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. But it's true. I've been right about everything. And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail. And if you don't stop people that you've never seen before, that you have nothing in common with, your country is going to fail. You're doing it because you want to be nice, you want to be politically correct, and you're destroying your heritage. The carbon footprint is a hoax. It's a con job. At extreme cost and expense, Europe reduced its own carbon footprint by 37%. Think of that. Congratulations, Europe. Great job. Cost yourself a lot of jobs, a lot of factories closed, but you reduced the carbon footprint by 37%. However, for all of that sacrifice and much more, it's been totally wiped out and then some by a global increase of 54%. So all of these countries are working so hard on the carbon footprint, which is nonsense, by the way. It's nonsense. We have still radicalized environmentalists, and they want the factories to stop. Everything should stop. No more cows. We don't want cows anymore. I guess they want to kill all the cows. But you know, we have a border, strong, and we have a shape, and that shape doesn't just go straight up. In Asia, they dump much of their garbage right into the ocean, and then somebody will get in trouble because he dropped a cigarette on the beach. So I have a little standing order in the White House. Never use the word coal, only use the words clean, beautiful coal. Sounds much better, doesn't it? And I only do business with people I like. When I don't like them, I don't like them. I hope that all countries who find inspiration in our example will join us and let us defend free speech and free expression. Let us protect religious liberty, including for the most persecuted religion on the planet today. It's called Christianity. In closing, I just want to repeat that immigration and the high cost of so-called green renewable energy is destroying a large part of the free world and a large part of our planet. Our ancestors climbed mountains, conquered oceans, crossed deserts, and trekked over wide open plains. Our ancestors gave everything for homelands that they defended with pride, with sweat, with blood, with life, and with death. Thank you very much. Bye.